One of the most devastating results of the battle against addiction is the emotional toll on families. It eats away at the core of a community. It tears innocent children away from parents, leaving each to deal with the pain of separation.
Oftentimes the children are overlooked. We have addicted babies being born in our community and many children growing up in homes where addiction is prevalent, and it's affecting virtually every part of the fabric of our community.
The emergency rooms are full of instances of children where children are abused by not having their parents there. The courts are full of the same problems. It's an absolute essential to have a loving parent to guide you in this journey of life, and it starts early and lasts for a long time.
In a unique local cooperative effort aimed at restoring some stability to already fragile families dealing with the issues of addiction, the Recovery Center, Lancaster Fairfield Community Action, Fairfield Homes, and Gorsuch Management have established a public-private partnership to create a safe and secure place for recovery through permanent supportive housing for families, to be known as Pearl House.
We decided that the best solution was to create housing for families, and that is to be able to keep the families together. And with an addiction as strong as opiates and heroin, it affects the whole family. And if by building housing for the whole family to recover, counseling for the children, and other wraparound services, it provides a much more sustainable recovery.
When a family can flourish and not focus completely on just the everyday needs of housing, and whether there's heat, whether keeping the utilities on, the rent, when those issues are controlled and when the family can be stable, then I think the possibility of success in treatment is so much greater.
Pearl House is a completely different concept. In the first place, Pearl House will be in a non-residential area, and that's key. It's going to be in the downtown. Additionally, it's going to be a secure facility, 24-hour security on the premises. And then I think it's very important to let our community know that these will not be prisoners. These are not folks under the supervision of our adult parole authority or serving sentences of some type. These are folks that just need drug treatment help immediately.
It's going to be very family focused with a playground, a toddler lot, and an inside play area. We'll have a craft room for families to be able to do crafts together, and volunteer teachers to come after school reading and create a reading program. We'll also have a large community room where by working with Fairfield Community Action Agency, we'll be able to bring in services to provide life skills to the mothers and fathers of these families.
The local opiate addiction problem is still with us and continues to break down families and contribute to crime. Just 5 years ago, 2 to 3% of the Recovery Center clients had opiate addiction problems. Today, that figure has risen to 67%. Area obstetricians are seeing patients on a regular basis who are addicted to Vicodin and heroin.
Well, right now there's outpatient therapy as part of the rehab with the Recovery Center and with Ohio State, and I think that is helpful for some people, but many of them just go back to the same environment when they leave their therapy session. And the pull of the heroin or the drugs is so strong that if they had somewhere where they could be either inpatient or in a house, it would really control their environment much more and make them more successful. And that's what the data shows from the Recovery Center, that places like that are more successful at recovering these people.
28-year-old Jessica is typical of the single parents who would benefit from the Pearl House concept. After spending time in a homeless shelter with her daughter, she was moved to income-assisted housing.
With us being together in the same apartment, it's a lot easier for me to build my relationship with her and also work on my recovery. I'm involved with a lot of programs here in the community And the housing is such a blessing. It's one less thing I have to worry about. If I didn't have my housing, I would have to live separate from my daughter, and I wouldn't be able to work on our bonds. A few of my friends don't have the housing that I have, and they struggle. They don't get to see their kids as often. The kids are placed with the grandparents, and they stay here and there and can't really focus on their recovery.
The focus of the local opiate task force, formed several years ago, has been community awareness and education.
If you've got somebody in your family that has cancer, you're not ashamed to say, you know, my mother, my father, my brother, my sister has cancer. But it's very difficult to walk up to some individual and say, my brother, my mother, my father is addicted to heroin. That's something that we need to start communicating a little more. It's not something to be ashamed of, because it affects everyone. And the more we talk about it, the more we get involved with it, the better chance we have in trying to solve the problem.
School-aged children of addicted parents are often faced with the stress of moving from one school to another year after year.
To have stability for them in a home would provide us the kind of consistency that students need for high achievement. So this would really impact the Lancaster City schools in a great way.
Stephanie is a 25-year-old mother of 3 who had been living with her mother, sister, and nephew in a 2-bedroom house until recently.
Like in my recovery, it's made me feel important. Like, you know, I've accomplished something. I can provide a house for my children and, you know, begin to get my life back on track and have my family in a comfortable place. I mean, I don't know what I would do without my children. My children are my life, and I don't know, like, I don't think that I would be able to continue on my journey without them.
After taking care of some of these patients in the hospital, I go home and I hug my kids, and I am so happy that my family is together and whole. And I think about those babies, and it really makes it hard for me to sleep at night. It's the reason that I'm here today, because I feel a tug at my heart to do something more than we're doing right now. It's very important for our community and the future of our kids.
In the beginning, it seems so impossible, but the harder I pushed, like the more it came together. I just never gave up. I knew what I wanted in the end. I wanted my life back. I wanted my daughter. I wanted my family, and I stayed focused on it. And there were many times that I wanted to give up, but the recovery center and my support system never allowed that. And it's just all possible. The relationships being rebuilt, I had destroyed a lot of them, and today I have my trust back from my family.
The Pearl House concept will foster strong families, the foundation of a strong community.
All of the families in Fairfield County deserve the opportunity to have a stable home life so that they can grow and be self-sustaining and be healthy. And I think that we all have a responsibility to our community. We're either part of the problem or part of the solution. And this is a wonderful opportunity for us to work together collaboratively as a community toward a solution.